Hello, everyone. Today we are diving into a TOEFL listening activity that focuses on a conversation. This dialogue is a perfect example of a workplace problem and solution scenario, which is very common in the exam. Let's pay close attention to the specific details and the main purpose of the call as we move on to the question. If you want to master your exam skills, come and join the community at my TOEFL for regular practice and helpful tips. Let's keep moving forward together on your learning journey. Now,
Hi, I'm calling about the printer on the third floor. It hasn't been working since this morning.
I'm sorry about that. Do you see any error message on the screen?
Yes, it says paper jam, but I already checked the tray. I need to print a report before 2 p.m.
It might be stuck inside the back panel. I can come by at 1:30 to fix it.
That would be great. My meeting starts at 2.
I'll make sure it's ready before then.
now that you have listened to the dialogue, please select the best response. Hi, I'm calling about the printer on the third floor. It hasn't been working since this morning. In this opening sentence, the woman immediately identifies the topic of the conversation. She mentions the printer and explains that it hasn't been working. This is a vital clue because the beginning of a conversation usually tells us the main problem or purpose of the call. I'm sorry about that. Do you see any error message on the screen? The man responds with a professional and helpful tone. He asks if there is an error message on the screen. This shows he is trying to diagnose the specific technical issue, which helps us understand that this is a troubleshooting situation. Yes, it says paper jam, but I already checked the tray. I need to print a report before 2 p.m. The woman gives more detail here, quoting the specific error, paper jam. She also introduces a time constraint, saying she needs to print a report before 2 p.m. In TOEFL listening, always listen for specific times and deadlines, as they often lead to detail questions. It might be stuck inside the back panel. I can come by at 1:30 to fix it. Now we get a potential solution. The man thinks the paper is stuck inside and offers a specific time to help. He says he will come at 1:30 to fix it. This time is very important for understanding the timeline of the conversation. That would be great. My meeting starts at 2. The woman agrees to the plan, saying it would be great. She confirms why the timing matters by stating her meeting starts at 2. This connects the fixed time to her deadline. I'll make sure it's ready before then. In the final sentence, the man gives a guarantee. He promises to make sure that the printer is ready before the deadline. This shows a successful resolution to the request. Let's jump into the first question to see how well you captured the main idea. This question asks about the overall topic of the conversation. What are the speakers mainly discussing? This question is asking for the main topic of the whole talk. You should look for what the speakers are mainly discussing. To find the answer, think about the very first things they said. The woman starts by saying the printer is the reason for her call because it hasn't been working. A great test-taking tip is that the main idea is almost always stated or hinted at in the very first few lines of a conversation. Let's evaluate option A together, a broken printer problem. This choice says they are talking about a broken printer problem. If we look at the very first sentence, the woman says the printer hasn't been working. Throughout the dialogue, they discuss the paper jam and how to fix it. This perfectly describes the whole conversation, so this option is correct. Let's move on to option B, a late meeting report. This option mentions a late meeting report. While the woman does say she needs to print a report for a meeting, the report itself isn't the main topic, and it isn't late yet. The focus is on the machine needed to print it. Therefore, this choice is incorrect. Next, we'll examine option C, a new office machine. This choice suggests they are talking about a new office machine. However, the woman is calling because her current printer hasn't been working. There is no mention of getting a new machine. This makes the option incorrect. Here's option D. Let's break it down. A missing paper tray. This option mentions a missing paper tray. While the woman says she checked the tray, she never says it is missing. The real issue is the paper jam inside the machine. Because this detail is not quite right, this option is incorrect. The correct answer is A. because the key expressions in the text directly match this option, while the other choices either provide incomplete information or clearly contradict the passage. Great job on the first one. Now let's move on to the second question, which focuses on a specific detail from the dialogue. When will the man probably fix the printer? This question is looking for a specific piece of information. It asks when the man will fix the printer. To find the answer, we need to listen for the specific time mentioned by the man. He clearly states in the dialogue that he can come by at 1:30. A useful tip for this type of task is to listen specifically for numbers and times, as they are very common targets for detail questions in the listening section. Let's take a closer look at option A, before 1 p.m. This option says the man will fix it before 1 p.m. However, the man specifically says he will come at 1:30, which is after 1 p.m. So, this information does not match the text. This option is incorrect. Now, let's take a closer look at option B, at 1:30 p.m. This option says the fix will happen at 1:30 p.m. This is exactly what the man promised when he said, "I can come by at 1:30." This choice perfectly matches the facts from the conversation. Therefore, this option is correct. Let's evaluate option C and see how it compares. After 2 p.m. This choice suggests the time is after 2 p.m. We know the woman's meeting starts at 2, and the man says he will have it ready before then. Fixing it after 2 would be too late. This makes the option incorrect. Next, we'll examine option D, next morning. This option suggests the next morning. However, the woman needs the report for her meeting today, and the man agrees to come at 1:30 this afternoon. There is no mention of waiting until tomorrow, so this choice is incorrect. The correct answer is B, because the key expressions in the text directly match this option, while the other choices either provide incomplete information or clearly contradict the passage.